by Bud Light Lime, the drinkability of Bud Light with the refreshing taste of lime. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. By Auto Tire, for the lowest prices in town, we shop the competitors so you don't have to. By Chevy, see your Mid-America Chevy dealers or shop and compare at stlchevy.com. And by the State of Missouri Tobacco Quit Line, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Sculpture Park, and an absolutely gorgeous night once again for baseball. Cool temperatures and just perfect for photo night, as the fans really enjoyed that. The players did as well. Albert Pujols, matter of fact, was taking individual photos and grabbing certain fans to go beyond the little barrier and brought him on the field to take pictures with him. It was really a neat sight. And there's a look at the arch and also the Nationals batting order tonight, as Willie Harris will lead it off. Their center fielder, Christian Guzman, a switch hitter. Then Ryan Zimmerman having a good year along with Adam Dunn, Josh Willingham, Elijah Dukes, Pete Orr, Will Nieves, and Craig Stammen. And the Cardinals will have Mitchell Boggs once again back in the major leagues. Boy, he has been up and down all season long. This will be his 7th start, his 8th game overall, and his numbers brought to you by Marcia Wireless.
Well, a lot of base runners has been the problem for Mitchell Boggs, and opponents are batting .340 against him. Lefty's .384, but he's only allowed 1 home run.
So Willie Harris, who's hitting .230 with 5 home runs and 21 RBIs, will lead it off. Pujols is in a few steps at first, and on the grass at third, Mark DeRosa. First pitch by Boggs is taken a little bit low, and we're underway. First pitch right at 6:15 here in St. Louis. It's 75 degrees here in late August. Game number 131 for the Cardinals tonight. They check in with a record of 75 and 55. And the Nationals could lose 100 games yet again. 46 and 83 their record. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, the good news is under Jim Riggleman, they've been playing much better baseball. And they're only 2 games under 500 since he's taken over. But so let's hope they don't lose 100.
You're just wondering if Manny Acta could get things going in the right direction. Never happened. They never caught fire. Didn't really show that spark of turning things around. And a longtime baseball man gets another shot, and that's Jim Riggleman. Count runs full, and it's something that we've seen a lot with Mitchell Boggs. A lot of full counts, going deep into counts with hitters.
Yeah, unfortunately, and that's one thing that you would think that he could rectify.
Pujols is there, and he'll take it himself. Steps on the bag for the first out. So after falling behind 3 balls and a strike, Boggs gets the first hitter, Willie Harris. Matt Holliday in left, Colby Rasmus in center, Ryan Ludwig in right. It's DeRosa, Ryan, Schumacher, and Pujols along the infield. And the battery tonight, a little different look with Mitchell Boggs and Jason LaRue. It's the Cardinals defense presented by Auto Tire. The Cardinals really haven't hit all that well the last 7 to 10 days, but they have pitched. Boy, they pitched.
Well, if you look at how ineffective the offense is, it's hard to believe that they have played so well. They're 7-3 in the last 10 with only about a .220 batting average. But you're right, they have just pitched lights out for Tony La Russa, and it's been fun to watch.
0-1 pitch to Guzman. That's past Pujols, and a fair ball down in the corner. A few years ago, he could really run. He's on his way to second base. He's going to stretch this into a triple. They missed the cut at Schumacher, but it doesn't matter. Brendan Ryan backing up, and it's a 1-out triple for Christian Guzman.
It's his 7th triple of this year, but that's what, when he was in the American League, he was just a triples machine.
Our keys to the game, the Cardinals pitching. The last 10 games, you see what they've done in the opponent's average. First, home runs allowed only 6, and hits allowed 66. And the offense, that's where you get a little bit concerned with the new faces like Holliday and DeRosa and Lugo. You know, it's been a collective effort where they just have not hit all that well.
That's right. I mean, the pitching is the best in baseball, and the last 10 days, the offense has been the worst.
Big gap in the right center, and here's Zimmerman. Now remember, Washington had a chance early on in the ballgame yesterday. They couldn't cash in. The Cardinals jumped out to a lead. Washington late would take the lead 2-1. Then Khalil Green off the bench, pinch hit, home run. A really neat moment of this 2009 season. Tied it up at 2-2. And then Pujols would win it with his first walk-off home run since 2006 when he did that against the Dodgers and Odalis Perez.
He kind of owned Perez, didn't he?
It was almost like Perez that night. I remember we were talking after the game. It was like he just laid it in there.
Well, the numbers, I mean, the numbers were so unbelievable in favor of Albert that probably thought that was the best way to get him out. Just here it is, put it on a tee.
And sometimes, isn't it funny how that works?
Yeah.
You know, you can be perfect inside and outside, and yet that hitter will own you, and then you throw one right down the middle, and you get the out. You get a pop-up. You get an easy ground ball.
Sometimes a pitcher will throw what we call a BP fastball. And you throw that in a game, they don't hit it. BP, they don't miss it.
Here's a fly ball into deep right field. Ludwig backing up on the track, makes the catch. Guzman will tag up from third base. It's 1-0 on Ryan Zimmerman's 89th RBI of the season.
These Nationals, they can score some runs. They actually have scored more runs in one fewer game than the Cardinals have this season. But their problem has been pitching, and we'll see if the youngster can right the ship for the Nationals tonight.
They're also doing it for the rest of the season without Niger Morgan, the former Pirate who was traded over midway through. And the Nationals are really high on him. They think that he is the right guy to play center field in that spacious ballpark, a leadoff man, and a good presence in their clubhouse too.
Just broke a bone this week, broke a bone in his hand, and he's out for the year. That's why Harris is getting the playing time. And once again, the shift on as a second baseman playing short right field.
Remember the play last night where Dunn hit it into short right in the first inning, and it saved a run on a very fine play by Lugo. And even Tony La Russa conceded afterwards that Lugo might have been too deep, but yet the play worked out for the Cardinals.
You see that the arch cut into the grass there that Schumacher's playing in the middle of it. Lugo was on top of it.
Off the glove of DeRosa, the third baseman near shortstop, and it's a base hit for Adam Dunn with 2 outs.
Lefties continue to kill Mitchell Boggs, and DeRosa playing shortstop. The third baseman shift over, you see him there, tries to time his jump, almost could get up to the apex and have a little bit to haul that one in, but he got over the glove.
So Dunn to left, 25 hits. A little surprising, isn't that?
And it kind of makes it a little surprising that you put that shift on so dramatically.
Mention the lefties. They came into play tonight hitting .384 against Mitchell Boggs, and Guzman hitting from the left side and Dunn hitting from the left side with a couple of base hits here in the first inning. Here's Josh Willingham, who's hitting .293. He's had a nice year. A lot of talk that the Cardinals had interest in Willingham, among other teams, to try to pick up a bat at the trade deadline.
Got 21 home runs, 5 multi-home run games this year. Set a record for the Nationals in their brief career.
One ball, one strike, and a runner at first with 2 outs. The Cubs win today 11-4 over the Mets. That's a final at Wrigley Field. There's a grand slam in that game.
Fox, I saw where he had a grand slam and also an RBI triple. I don't know if what else he did.
That's hit down the left field line. It is hooking, and that ball is fouled. So Chicago could pull to within 8 games if the Cardinals would lose tonight, but it seems like every time the Cubs win, the Cardinals win. Every time the Cardinals lose, the Cubs lose.
Isn't it amazing? The Cardinals have lost 6 games in the month of August, and every time the Cardinals lost in August, so did the Cubs.
2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs. And a runner at first base. Short lead at first by Adam Dunn. Boggs in his last start, which was against the Dodgers, and he hasn't pitched in a while. Talked about a lack of consistency going to the plate, and there's what you're talking about, Al. The last 6 losses. Also, the Cubs result a loss as well.
And yet, Boggs hasn't pitched in 11 days.
And a swing and a miss as he picks up his first strikeout of the night. 22 pitches in the first inning for Boggs. 1-0 Nationals. And the Cardinals. And Tony La Russa's lineup reads like this: Skip Schumacher, the second baseman, Brendan Ryan and Albert Pujols, then Matt Holliday, Ryan Ludwig and Colby Rasmus, Mart DeRosa, Jason LaRue and Mitchell Boggs, who's hitting .091. And the Cardinals face a righty, Craig Stammen. It's our Marshall Wireless starter, as he made his major league debut earlier this year.
That's right. This is his 19th start. He's never pitched against the Cardinals. He's a ground ball pitcher. Matter of fact, he changed from a four-seam fastball that he would throw 94, 95 up in the zone and just didn't get people out. So finally somebody got him to try and throw the sinker, and he really wasn't on their radar screen at the beginning of the year, but now he finds himself pitching in the big leagues.
He's called up to the major leagues back on May 20th of this season. First major league start was on the 21st against the Pirates, went 6 1/3 with a no decision. And his first major league win against the New York Yankees back on June 18th. Also has a complete game under his belt. That was against Houston. And a 1-1 pitch to Schumacher. Drills it into right center field. That ball will get down. Extra bases coming up for the Cardinal leadoff man. On his way to second base, and he'll stop there. It's a leadoff double for Skip Schumacher.
Oh, will the Cardinals break out against this rookie? They usually have trouble against a guy the first time they face one, but in this case, making his 19th start, there should be plenty of video for the Cardinals. You see the sinking action, but he leaves it down and in. And that is not a good spot for a left-handed hitter. That's their sweet spot.
Brendan Ryan, the shortstop. Albert Pujols on deck. I like this 1-2 combination at the top of the lineup with Schumacher and Ryan.
Well, the two guys flirting with 300 batting average. Both of them have a little life and a little pep in their step. So it is something to get on base in front of Albert.
Zimmerman, the third baseman, is even with the bag, and at least Brendan is going to try to move Schumacher to third. And then it's decision time for Jim Riggleman and how you want to approach Albert Pujols with Matt Holliday following him.
I remember yesterday, Albert really did not look comfortable at the plate. A couple little tappers right off the end of the bat back to the pitcher. 0 for 3 before the home run.
And he actually said after the game he had his best batting practice, arguably, of the 2009 season. And if he comes out and says that, knowing himself so well, you figure he's going to have a huge game. But as you mentioned, till that home run, he had been quiet. But not with the home run. That was a long, long homer just to the right of Big Mac Land. Here's a 1-1 pitch showing bunt taken low and outside.
Does he continue to bunt, or now as you see the defense and really opening up a lot of hitting lanes, do you do the butcher boy show bunt but pull the bat back and slap down on the ball? You have to hit down on the ball because you don't want to double, hit into a double play, a line drive double play.
Bunted foul, 2-2. Now many times, which we'll see Ryan trying to bunt his way on. But you don't see that very often where he squares and sacrifices.
Yeah, and in my mind, he would be a tough guy for him to sacrifice the conventional way. And why I say that is because he's always trying to drag bunt. And when you get a guy that's so fiery and, kind of a pepper ball guy, they can't just stand there still and try to sacrifice. There's too much moving. So they mechanically are put themselves in a poor position to try and bunt.
2-2 pitch to Brendan Ryan. Schumacher's going to stay put at second. Probably could have advanced, but did not get a good read. You have to get a good read on that play there.
And you almost want to walk down there. So you got to watch. You got to be aware. You've got to have that secondary lead.
See Jose Oquendo wanting him to stretch that lead a little bit too.
Right. He can see the second baseman. He doesn't know where the shortstop is. That's why you rely on the third base coach for that knowledge. They're really not watching him closely.
Brendan Ryan hits it to short, going to third, and he is out. Took a chance. He gambled. Didn't pay off. And a good play there by Guzman. 6-5 over to Zimmerman.
You've got to make it out here, and Guzman thought he had a chance. Ball was hit behind Schumacher. He wasn't not, lollygagging. He was hustling all the way, and now maybe this way it guarantees Albert to hit.
The other thing too, Al, Jose Oquendo was trying to stretch that lead.
Right.
And he did not have a very big lead out there at second base. Probably could have had a step or two, and that may have been a difference in him being out or safe at third base. Here's Pujols with one out and a runner at first. 41st home run last night. Now with 108 RBIs, and his average is at 316. Pujols very gracious before the game. That was good to see.
It was very nice to see, as he allowed a lot of the fans to come out and get by his side, go underneath the ropes, and take pictures with him.
It's a strike to Albert.
You can see a lot of kids run out there and want that picture with their hero.
And Pujols now, you think about the Triple Crown, he is 6th in average, tied with Felipe Lopez of Milwaukee. And Hanley Ramirez is at 366, so it's going to be very tough with a month to be in that conversation anymore. And Pujols pops it up a mile high. Dunn, who's now a first baseman in foul territory, makes the catch. So 2 outs, and it brings in Matt Holliday. The Nationals defense with Willingham, Harris, and Dukes in the outfield. Zimmerman, Guzman, Orb, and Dunham on the infield. Stammen and Nieves. Auto Tire defense, here is Holliday.
Not a very good defense either, as the Nationals have committed 114 errors on the season.
Mentioned the Cardinals, the best record in baseball since Matt Holliday arrived on the scene. With the Cardinals, he's hitting .380. Holliday pops it up left side. Zimmerman over with room right in front of his own dugout, puts it away. The Cardinals strand their first runner of the night after 1-0. Sustained legendary performance on this date, 1977. Lou Brock steals 2 bases, breaking the all-time record with .893 in his career. The Cabot Woodstein legendary performance. We should note that Lou was pinch hitting, so to speak, for Bob Gibson yesterday in Bob Gibson Field, donated by Cardinals Care, the 18th field that they have donated since its inception back in 1997. It's in North St. Louis, and they did a great job with it. Beautiful ballpark, named after the legend Bob Gibson. Could not attend, so Lou Brock was reading from a prepared statement. Also had a few words of his own, and entertaining, to say the least. I know the fans got a kick out of it, those that were there.
And I remember on this date in '77 when he broke that record against Philadelphia.
Elijah Dukes chops one to short. Brendan Ryan is there and makes the play. What stood out about that night?
It was a long night because he broke the record out there, and then we had on-field ceremony about 20 minutes. It was getaway day. We were going to New York, and by the time the national media and everybody did, we sat on a plane, players, until Lou got there, and delayed about 2 hours. And then we flew to New York, got into New York at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then the next night we played 25 innings in New York.
I remember when McGuire passed Roger Maris, it took him a few days to kind of regroup because he was so emotionally spent and still had the race with Sammy Sosa.
Remember, we left as a team and he stayed back to handle the press conference, and then he joined the club in Cincinnati, right?
That's right. It's in out of play, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Sure, he had a private jet taking, but Lou had to go with the rest of us. Like a DC-9 we traveled on back then, an Ozark DC-9, where now it's a 757 by American Airlines.
Or pops it foul. He's back in the major leagues. He's played with the Atlanta Braves, and he was a 39th round draft pick of the Rangers back in '98, 1,187th overall. But now living his dream and playing in the big leagues. 1-2 pitch. And he rips it into right center field. Again, those lefties giving him trouble tonight again.
Well, Dan, we were talking about last night the #1 draft picks overall and what they've done. I always think that you should always have a pretty good #1. And he missed his location. He wanted it inside, and the ball was out over the plate. But I've always said you've got to rate your drafts on what you do with the surprise picks, the guys that nobody else thought, and how your farm system can develop those guys. Like you say, Orr was what was he, over 1,000 pick?
Over 1,100.
1,100.
Hit down the right field line. This is slicing and foul. The A-base, the hitter, the catcher tonight for Washington.
Well, it's going to be interesting because last night it was surprising as Jim Riggleman elected to have a couple guys run off of Molina, where with LaRue back there, and not to say that Jason can't throw, because he can, but if they're going to run off of Molina, you think they're going to run off of Jason LaRue.
And if I'm Jim Riggleman, I don't mind playing this way. I want to show my young team that we want to be aggressive, even against one of the better teams in the league like the Cardinals. Boggs.
Should have been running.
Second base. Double play. He needed that. A double play started by Mitchell Boggs. Casino. Watch player interviews and Tony La Russa plus Pat Parrish and Rick Horton break down the game. It's U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live after the game on Fox Sports Midwest. So that's coming up, the post game. Double play started by Mitchell Boggs, 1-6-3, and that sends us to the bottom of the second with the Cardinals trailing 1-0. Tonight it is absolutely packed here at Busch Stadium. Photo night. This has been sold out for quite some time, so well over 40,000 here this evening. And surprisingly, for a bobblehead day, there are still good seats available for Sunday afternoon, tomorrow.
And then how about finish up the homestand with 3 against Milwaukee? 7:15 starts Monday and Tuesday, and then whatever they call it, businessman special or whatever. What is it, 1:15 on Thursday?
Little getaway day for us.
Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday.
And it's a short road trip, and then we come back for 9 more games at home. Cardinals be playing about 2/3 the rest of the schedule here at Busch Stadium.
Tony would get mad at us, but we would maybe start planning on when we can celebrate on that next homestand.
The way they're playing, I mean, it's not far-fetched to think that way.
What is the magic number? 26?
Mid-20s, yeah. I think it might be 26. 3 balls and no strikes on Brian Ludwig. And that's ball 4. So a leadoff walk for the Cardinals.
Well, Ludwig walked a couple times last night, so maybe he's seeing the ball much better.
Well, you mentioned Milwaukee, and the Brewers, it could be a very interesting offseason for them. There's 2 schools of thought of what they might want to do with Prince Fielder, who has I believe a year and an option and then an arbitration year coming up. Can they keep he and Braun together? You know, high-priced guys. Now, Braun is going to stay there. He's got 6 more years on his contract, but there are a lot of teams that would love to have a bat like a Prince Fielder, and do you go out and give him up for prospects and pitching?
And playing devil's advocate, you know, you've got to look at that body and then think of a couple more years of age on that. You know, I mean, that's reality. You got to think that way.
One pitch to Colby Rasmus on its way. A swing and a miss. I think if you're the Yankees, you have to be a little concerned about the end of that contract with CC Sabathia. Not only a pitcher, but he's a big man too. 0-2 the count here on Rasmus as we play in the bottom of the second. And Colby pops it foul. The Cardinals are 4th in attendance. That is just remarkable. 4th in attendance. When you consider ahead of them the Yankees with a new stadium in New York. You've got the LA Dodgers, huge stadium, huge market, and the world champions, another big market, the Phillies. They're at number 3 coming off a championship year, and then the Cardinals. There's a ground ball slowly hit to short. Only plays to go to second. Out there, Rasmus safe at first.
And I remember that was a nifty play by Guzman. And I remember when the first time Cardinals went over 3 million, the commissioner of baseball made the analogy that was like New York drawing 13 million and LA drawing 10.
That is something else. If you're traveling and can't catch the Cardinals TV broadcast, catch all the action on your computer at MLB.tv. Over 100 live out-of-market games per week. Visit STLCardinals.com. That's where baseball is always on to find out more. I mean, the Cardinals are drawing ahead of the Mets, and they're in a new stadium, Citi Field. What a rough year it has been for New York. They lost again today to the Cubbies 11-4.
Even with a huge payroll, you know, you just can't have the depth to combat all those injuries to such key personnel.
One pitch to DeRosa. It's Delgado and it's Jose Reyes. I mean, it's John Maine. It's big players for them that make difference, a huge difference over the course of a season.
Billy Wagner, who now is with Boston after he came off the disabled list, accepted a trade.
Colby a little bigger lead this time and leaning, diving back into first safely.
It's one of the aspects of Kobe's game that he's going to have to really work on. Utilize that speed and be more of a threat on the base paths. But There's one thing that, if Tony La Russa could help out, is this team's offense stagnant, is try to get the running game.
There he goes. Good jump. It was a breaking ball, too, so no chance for the catcher, Will Nieves. A stolen base for Colby Rasmus. Really good jump.
It's only his third stolen base of the year in 4 attempts. So, you almost got to force him to run because he's just not comfortable getting that lead and taking off.
You talk to guys that have been around this game a long time, and they'll tell you, even a guy like Rasmus who's got tremendous speed, it doesn't matter. Base stealing is an art form.
Yes, it is. And
the speed helps, but there's so much more that goes into it.
Well, you look at Albert is leading the ball club in steals. What is it? Molina's is third.
And it comes down to knowing pitchers, situations, good jumps, reads, all those things, as Molina has the night off with LaRue behind the plate tonight.
Rosa's starting to pick it up a little bit. He's starting to feel a little more comfortable. A little modest 3-game hitting streak. Batted over 300 on this homestand. Not many Cardinals can say that.
Al, I'll be interested after the season, whenever that may come, whenever it comes to an end, to find out truly how much that wrist is bothering him. Because I'm not sure we've seen him swing the bat as well as he was prior to the injury. But the Cardinals have done their due diligence in not only getting good players, but also good people. And DeRosa is already turned into an impactful guy inside that clubhouse.
Very much so.
Good veteran.
And this young right-hander doesn't walk many, so a little surprising that he's walked 2 in this inning.
How much do you think that is, though, when you're facing this kind of lineup, where all of a sudden you're saying, all right, we're playing the Cardinals, some believe the best team in baseball. I'm a young guy. I know you can't think this way, but it is human nature where you feel you have to be perfect.
Well, you just stated it. You can't think that way. I mean, you really got to look at it as this is a great opportunity for me to show the world of baseball that I can compete against the best and I can excel.
Here's LaRue, who's done a really good job as a backup catcher, hitting .239, 1 home run, 3 RBIs. There's Tony, and Dave Duncan will tell you they want somebody that is a good receiver, also a catch and throw guy, and LaRue, for the most part, is still very good at doing that.
That is first and foremost. Be able to catch and throw, go out there, spell your primary catcher, and LaRue really takes the job serious, like Molina. Tony and Dave Duncan are very difficult and very tough on their catchers. And you've got to be a part of every one of those pitchers' meetings. You've got to really use your head, get out there and really help out your pitching staff. You got a lot of responsibility, and these two guys, welcome that and excel in those areas. 1
ball, 1 strike on LaRue. Boggs on deck, 1 out, 2 runners on for the Cardinals. They stranded a runner back in the first. And that's a strike to LaRue. He didn't like the first one, and I'm sure he doesn't like that one either. 1-2.
LaRue's batted .293 when he started.
And that's not an easy thing to do, to come off the bench, and he's been an everyday player before in his career with Cincinnati, and trying to keep your batting eye sharp is very, very difficult for a bench player. LaRue rips it foul. He's ready for that pitch.
Jason, he's going to be playing once a week. It's hard to kind of keep things positive. As a starter, he's 17 for 58, .293, and .239 overall. So really, he'll go a week without a single AB.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to LaRue. Taken high, 2-2.
Only had 71 at bats on the year.
You get to the ballpark early, and LaRue is here. He's one of the first to arrive, and always working out with Chris Carpenter. Pete Prenzi, the strength and conditioning coach, has different agility drills and stretching drills that have put those two through, and does an awful lot of running to keep his conditioning up. LaRue pops it up. Zimmerman, infield fly. 2 outs. Stay warm and cozy during cool Cardinals games. And in the offseason with the Cardinals Fleece Blanket, courtesy of AT It's available to 25,000 fans, ages 16 and older. Get yours Friday, September 11th by purchasing tickets at stocardinals.com.
See if Boggs can help himself here. Get a 2-out base hit. Looking for his first, I would believe, major league RBI. What do you think?
September 11th, Atlanta, by the way, is in town, and it's the first of 3. I pointed this out the other day. There was the possibility that John Smoltz could pitch against his former team. You know that all eyes in baseball would be on that night with John Smoltz going up against the Atlanta Braves. Wouldn't that be something?
Well, you just think about what Bobby Cox would be thinking. Chipper Jones, John Smoltz. He was nervous the other day against the Nationals.
And Boggs strikes out. If it works out, he would pitch next Saturday against the Braves. Cardinals have stranded 3. By the Casino Queen Hotel and Casino, home of the loosest slots. And by AT&T, switch to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. 1-0, top of the 3rd rolls in. Sculpture Park in St. Louis. Those shots provided by our good buddy Tony West, who was running all over the place prior to the game tonight and around downtown St. Louis.
Yeah, they were really busy getting that ready for the All-Star weekend.
Here's the pitcher, Stammen.
Hitting over 200, so maybe it will swing the bat a little bit.
Well, Mitchell talked about, and I mentioned this before, just trying to find a release point and consistent mechanics. And at times, we've seen that before. He gets in trouble with that. Can't get that repeatable motion. Something to do, isn't it?
It's one of those terms, that you just didn't hear much. Repeatable delivery, but it's so true.
Slowly hit to the shortstop, Brendan Ryan, for the first out.
But to the point where guys today, it's amazing that they really have to think and worry about those things where they just can't get that muscle memory and just get on the mound and just come so easy to you that every time you throw the ball you have the same release point.
John Smoltz was terrific again last night. He now has 11 innings, 15 strikeouts, and really has improved against the lefties, which he struggled with in his brief time with Boston. A strike on the inside corner.
And it made sense. You know, he said he found a little flaw that he was throwing across his body. When you're doing that, you're right-hander, you really have trouble getting inside to the left-hander. So I thought it was interesting how much they did the backdoor breaking ball last night against lefties.
You think it's a foregone conclusion he goes to the bullpen later this season?
I think it is, if as long as you have the healthy. But I think right now is you leave him in there until you get to the playoffs.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
leave him in the rotation.
But as you well know, Al, knock on wood, the Cardinals make it to the playoffs. At some point, you would figure he would want to get a little bit more comfortable if he is going to go to the bullpen, you know, maybe the final week, 10 days of the season. Or do you think it really matters to a guy that's done both and he's done it forever?
I think it would make no difference. And I think he, like you said, 154 career saves, so he knows how to warm up as a reliever. He knows, you know, what he wanted was to get a little more pitching time, make a couple starts, but now with out of necessity, you can use him out there because he's been so good.
He drops in front of Ludwig. Base hit for Harris. Everything you knew about fantasy football is about to change. Introducing the all-new Fox Fantasy Football with more customized features and new ways to play. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN and join the next generation of fantasy football. Christian Guzman tripled and scored back in the first. With Willie Harris's speed and Guzman at the plate, let's see if they want to do a little running here and be aggressive. Albert Pujols on Monday will have his charitable golf tournament for the Pujols Family Foundation and the winner of the Roberto Clemente Award, which I know means an awful lot to him.
It is a very prestigious award.
Rounder pulled foul.
Not only what you do on the field, but probably even more importantly, your humanitarian endeavors. Every team has a recipient, you know, and then they take the overall winner for the true Roberto Clemente Award, and it's quite an honor just to be nominated for your team with all the good work so many of these guys do.
There's some believe that that number should be retired, similar to that of Jackie Robinson. And back in is Harris. 42 retired around baseball, and some believe 21 should be retired as well. That was Molina-like there from Jason LaRue.
Albert's never surprised when Molina did it, but I don't think he was too surprised, but he didn't catch the ball.
1 ball, 1 strike on Guzman. Checked by Boggs over at first. Jim Riggleman, aggressive last night, former manager with the Padres, Chicago Cubs, Seattle Mariners. Just a partial season there.
And Willie Harris is one of their better running threats.
You see, he keeps a stopwatch over there. Very similar to that of Dave McKay. Now, Dave McKay, the Cardinals' first base coach, always carries a stopwatch out to the first base coach's box, but also in that dugout, he's told me that one of the things he likes to do and has done in the past is keep a stopwatch on opposing players and his own players. So when they go out and acquire a player or free agency sign a guy, he'll go over with him. Hey, this is what we picked up that you were doing. This was your consistent time to the plate and why we ran against you or why we didn't.
Correct.
Those guys are very, very valuable inside that dugout for input for John Mozeliak and his staff to go out and make some moves. They say, yeah, we like this guy. Well, we'll talk to the players and figure out what kind of guy we're acquiring. This is what we're looking at for this particular situation. And it's 3-1.
But a lot of young pitchers, you know, you get into a situation like this, and remember a lot of the running game, the step off, the throw overs are called from the bench, but you can't worry so much about that base runner to where it affects you throwing to the plate.
It's about the 4th or 5th time he's thrown over.
Fall behind and then Guzman becomes even more dangerous. 3-1 count.
There goes Harris, and the pitch is hit to Albert. He'll go to second. Out there, back to first, and safe.
Albert was
How
out the
did they
bag.
get that lead runner? Wow.
Albert really took a chance right there. Remember, even with that elbow, he still has a strong throwing arm, and he's fearless, and if he makes mistakes, they're usually of aggression. Here, a very close play with Harris running from his knees. He throws there, and they get the out there, but Albert not getting back to the bag.
Watch
he missed
Harris.
the bag. See, he's looking to go. See, Harris.
Can't believe it.
Well, Harris did not run. He's looking to try and take that angle, thinking he's going, that he's going to go all the way to third base, and then he slows up. I mean, it was a bang play in Riggleman's mind that he still beat it the throw at second base, but he's going to lose the argument.
Well, you could see, like you said, Al, he started to almost make that little banana curl.
Yeah, he was looking at his third base coach to pick him up, thinking that the ball got down into the corner, and by doing so it slowed up, and then by not sliding, it's another slow up. And by getting out of the way, also then there's a clean path for the throw for Albert, and Brendan Ryan is not screened by the runner.
Boy, was that a chancy play.
Yep.
Very well could be first and second with just one out, instead two with a man at first. So here's that little banana curl that we're talking about. See, he's starting to make that turn. Yeah,
and see him how he slowed up, and just by going in standing, you have to slow up too to hit the bat.
1 ball, 1 strike on Ryan Zimmerman.
So he was assuming that ball got by Alberts down the corner, planning on going to third. And whether Pat Listash, the third base coach, got his attention or not, but he, by standing up, going into second, he cost himself the out.
1-2. Mitchell Boggs consistently will throw 94, 95 on our gun. I know the Cardinals would like to see him be more aggressive with that fastball in the zone. Located. See Riggleman talking there with Harris. 2-2.
And that slider, you can see that AAA hitters many times will swing at that pitch, but I've been amazed that he's gotten as many strikeouts against major leaguers that he's had. But you get guys like Zimmerman, and kind of doubtful that they're going to offer at it.
Zimmerman is certainly a legitimate star in many ways, the face of their franchise right now. As he chops it to Brendan Ryan on a forced play at second, and that sends us to the Cardinals half of the third. Top of the lineup for St. Louis. Redbirds trail by a run. Women's Pro Soccer All-Star Game Sunday at 4:30 on Fox Sports Midwest. Cardinals trailing 1-0. Here's Skip Schumacher. Schumacher doubled his first time up. A pitch in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Skip has talked about this team in comparison to 04 and 05 and teams that he was around, and then a couple teams that he played on, as being a better team than those teams that had 100-plus wins. Nice job, Mozeliak, the other day, the Cardinals GM. I said, how would you compare this lineup to 04 and 05? And he said probably 04 may have been a little bit better, not to take anything away from this group, but you know, you go back to 04, Pujols, Edmonds, Roland, and it was the MB3.
Yeah, I agree with John.
Yeah. Schumacher slicing this into left center, and Harris comes up with a nice running play. A good speed, and he makes the play.
Well, they lost Nigel Morgan, but they have really a clone in Willie Harris. And as you said, you know, with the big spacious ballpark they have in D.C., they need a swift outfielder, and Harris can provide that. Tracks that one down nicely.
Well, there's so many reasons why they needed to sign Steven Strasburg. Number one, he's a terrific talent, the best talent the amateur draft this year, but also there's a curiosity factor with him too, to draw fans into that organization, to say, hey, we've got a guy that consistently throws 100. Nasty slider. Great breaking ball. Oh, by the way, he throws a changeup, too.
What was it? They sold tickets for his press conference or something, and they got like 6,000 people?
Yes. And to their credit, they said there was going to be no gimmicks in September as far as having him throw a few innings. They've got a plan for him of just 40 maxed out innings from right now until spring training next year, of which he has a major league invite to. The 2-1 pitch. Up the middle. Base hit for Brendan. Don't miss the last Ice Mountain autograph night of the season. Join us on Wednesday, September 2nd, to meet your favorite Cardinals players and alumni. For details, visit STLCardinals.com. It'll be Wednesday, September 2nd.
I asked Jim Riggleman if he met Strasburg. All right, and if he's seen him throw, and he said, no, I met him, but I have not seen him throw. We didn't even have him throw, you know, for us.
Shelby Miller was here the other day. Threw for Tony La Russa. Some of the Cardinals minor league staff. Wait until the third time Pujols comes up and all the flash bulbs that'll be popping here at the ballpark. Nightfall is truly upon us, and it's photo night.
So you think they brought their cameras, huh?
Oh, I do. That's usually why they would come out to photo night.
I was trying to figure that one out, but it's a pretty good reason.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Pujols. 2 balls and no strikes. This right-hander walked 2 back in the second. And the Cardinals have a couple of base hits. One by Schumacher, the other by Brendan Ryan. Pujols' first time up, popped out to the first baseman Dunn in foul territory. He could put the Cardinals on top.
Really, you take away the great swing in the 9th inning, the game-winning walk-off home run, he has really struggled in this series. And the Cardinals, they only had 5 hits last night, and two of those were home runs.
And if you're wondering, since the acquisition of Holiday, Pujols is hitting roughly around 280. I believe he's got 7 home runs since the 24th of July.
On this homestand, the Cardinals are 3-1 to this point with a .213 batting average. On the season, they've only hit .222 against Nationals pitching, and they are 4-1.
Here's a 3-1 pitch. Brendan Ryan diving back into first base. Mentioned it last night how John Mozeliak is now starting to take a look at 2010. Of course, that includes Matt Holliday. And the big question with a franchise like the Cardinals, when you're not spending $200 million, how much can you dedicate to Pujols and Holliday in the middle of your lineup?
Well, you're already committed a pretty good chunk to Carpenter, Wainwright. Loesch got his payday last season.
Here's a 3-1 pitch. They want to go inside. You better watch out. Pujols got a piece, 3-2.
But it's not unusual for most ball clubs to, appropriate 60-70% to just a handful of guys and then fill in around them.
Pujols saw an awful lot of fastballs last night. Interesting to note that. First inning, he had 5 fastballs. Fourth inning was 3, 6, 2, and then in the ninth he saw 3 fastballs, which, of course, one of those was hit about 500 feet. A 3-2 pitch to Albert. Ryan is running, and it's taken for a ball. Third walk issued by Stammen.
Stammen on the season has shown a tendency to get through the lineup twice with relative ease, but that third time they hit him about 330. So he's flirting with danger with these 3 walks.
So here is Matt Holliday. Holliday popped out to the third baseman Zimmerman. Foul territory first time up. 18 home runs, and 7 of the 18 have been hit with the Cardinals. Runners at first and second for Matt. Holliday cranks one out to deep left field. To the track. To the wall. Out of here. Into the bullpen. Matt Holliday. 8th Cardinal home run. Redbirds their first lead. 3-1 St. Louis.
Set up inside, and ball just down and in. A lot of people think that that's a good pitch, down and in. Talking about to a left-hander, it's in the wheelhouse. But a lot of times a right-handed batter just drops that bat head. You're hitting it to left field, the shortest part of the ballpark, and you will pay for a lot of those. Remember, you come inside off the plate, you get them out of the way.
Saw that pitch in the Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill Exmo Cam. The fans wanted the curtain call, but Holliday stayed inside. No balls and 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss by Ludwig. He strikes out, and that's the second out. We talked about John Smoltz. There he is on the left, Matt Holliday on the right. Smoltz facing his former team. That would be here in St. Louis. But for Matt Holliday, he heads back to Colorado in games that could be of huge importance for the Rockies.
Right.
Remember, he was a runner-up MVP wearing that uniform. 3-time All-Star, 3-time Silver Slugger. And when they went to the World Series, he was the NLCS MVP. So he meant an awful lot to that franchise, which he was originally drafted by back in 1998. Holliday makes it 3-1 St. Louis. 31 and 32. The Anheuser-Busch Brewery Tour is open 7 days a week, and it's free. The tour includes a visit to the brew house, lager cellars, packaging facility, and of course the famous Budweiser Clydesdale stable. For more information, please call the number 314-577-2626. Again, 314-577-2626. If you haven't done so, great way to spend an afternoon, the Anheuser-Busch Brewery Tour. Adam Dunn singled back in the first. The folks at ABL will treat you right.
I think Bob Carpenter and his family went there today with Ray Knight. They were talking about that last night.
Pitch is popped up a mile high by Dunn. LaRue throws the mask. And this is a good teaching tool right here. And a great example of why, if you're a young catcher, you throw that mask as far as you can to get it out of the way, especially to pop up like that.
Yeah, and in a sense, we're going to show you why you don't do what LaRue just did. But we'll say the good part is you locate, you hold the mask, right? And you threw it away. He thought it was far enough, but then he kind of, and watch what happens is he steps on it now. But you throw it far enough away, but he thought it was away. But then as the ball came back towards the playing surface, as you saw, he just end up stepping on the mask. But you hold on to it. You don't just drop it immediately. You hold on to it until you locate it, and then, as you said, try and throw it as far away as you possibly can.
Here is Willingham and a strike. Also a tool, a teaching tool here is for Adam Dunn. And he was running, but you hustle all the way on that play as that came back into fair territory.
Right. So you only have to run 4 times a night. And the old story, if you hustle, you never embarrass yourself.
Outfield is straight away, and here comes a 1-2 pitch. A lot of sliders we've seen to Willingham. He struck out his first time up.
And he chased one out of the strike zone for Boggs' first and only strikeout of the night.
Brendan Ryan starts about a yard back on the outfield grass. He'll walk into the pitch as it's coming to the plate to give himself a little momentum on the balls of his feet, and then he's able to move right or left, but he's playing fairly deep at shortstop. But he likes it that way, and he likes to sling the ball over to first base.
Yeah, and a guy like Willingham, usually hits the ball hard, but he takes that big swing, so it's not like he's going to just drop a bunt down or a swinging bunt.
I would have to say Brendan probably plays the deepest shortstop of anybody that we see come through at Busch Stadium. Most guys are still on the dirt. Now they'll be deep where he's standing right now, but they don't start on the outfield grass like Brendan does.
The way he's played defensively, he can do whatever he wants.
It's down and in, and taken for ball 4, and the first walk issued by Mitchell Boggs. Help support the families of fallen police and firefighters on Backstoppers Night, Friday, September 11th against the Braves. Discounted tickets include a t-shirt, free hot dog and soda, plus a pregame parade around the Busch Stadium field. Backstoppers Night, those tickets are available for September 11th at stlcardinals.com/backstoppers. Here's Elijah Dukes, and it's patched to Rosa into left field for a base hit. So walk to Willingham, base hit by Dukes, who's now 1 for 2, and it brings in Pete Orr.
The Backstoppers had a softball game here in the park today. Dukes hits it off the end of the bat, and he takes a big vicious swing. Hot Shots Exmo Cam, 1 block south of the ballpark on Broadway.
Runners at first and second with 1 out. Pete Orr singled back in the second inning. We've talked about it a bunch tonight, but these lefties really gotten to Boggs. So my question to you would be, why? What are you seeing with the lefties? Is he leaving that slider over the middle of the plate to them?
Yes, he's leaving pitches out over the middle of the plate. He's not getting up inside enough.
0-1 pitch. Base hit out to left. Willingham was on his way back to second base, so we'll have the bases loaded and only one out. He was really in between as to whether or not to advance or go back to second base.
If you think about it, the base runner at Willingham, the lead runner at his second base on that line drive, in his mind, he thought it was a real possibility that was going to be caught by DeRosa. So, really a tough play, and he did the right thing.
Will Nieves out of San Juan, Puerto Rico, made his debut in Major Leagues with the Padres. He's been with the Yankees, Angels. He's really considered Mike Mussina's personal catcher for a long time. The pitch is taken low and away. Mike Mussina has a 21 season and says enough's enough, as he was closing in on 300 wins.
Right. There was an outstanding pitcher in his prime.
There's a broken bat, slowly hit. Brendan Ryan only play to go to first. A run will score. That cuts the lead to 3-2. Willingham scores the second Washington run. RBI for Nieves, and that's his 23rd.
Great baseman.
LaRue down and away. Now watch the glove as the pitch totally misses location. Comes very effective pitch as he jams him, but almost jams him too much to the point where Brendan Ryan only had one play, and that was, to first base, allowing the run to score.
Here's Stammen. And that pitch is a strike as he grounded out to short first time up.
And the difference is LaRue set up down and away. What he's hoping for is the guy rolls over on that ball and hits you a nice little double play to the shortstop, and you turn two and get out of the inning.
Popped out, right side. Albert wants it. He's got it. DeRosa, LaRue, and Boggs. 7, 8, 9 coming up. Washington cuts into the lead with a run. Mary Jo McQuality. Mary Jo lives in Crestwood, Missouri, 100 years young. Big Cardinal fan. She's got a Cardinal t-shirt there, and she's pictured with her friends Angel, the teacup poodle, and Zeke, the fawn boxer. Happy birthday.
I didn't think the boxer was going to be named Angel.
There's Max Leinwand in the back left there. He is the post-game show producer. You can see he is working as hard as Brad Straubinger, the pregame show producer, was working the other night.
Well, they're in training.
Here's DeRosa. Big gap in the left center field. And a 1-0 pitch to Mark. Ground ball hit left side. Guzman there steps and throws and makes the play. So DeRosa is 0 for 1 tonight with a walk, and it brings in the backup catcher for the Cardinals getting a start tonight, Jason LaRue, and then we'll see Mitchell Boggs. 3-2 Cardinals. Washington picked up a run in the first. The Cardinals with 3 runs on 1 swing of the bat. Matt Holliday a home run. In the top of the 4th, Washington picked up a run to cut the lead to 3-2.
Jason's 35, and early in the season he was the only position player over 30. And now that DeRosa and Lugo have joined, Jason has company with the Graybeards.
Saw in that swing the grimace of Matt Holliday on his home run. I mean, he just takes a vicious cut. When he decides to swing, there's no holding back. He's going to let it rip.
I was talking to him about the size and weight of his bat. Well, a lot of these guys, use light bats. I think he told me his was 34, 32 ounce, 34 inches. And I said, "Do you ever pick up any of the older players' bats?" He goes, "Well, I used to hear about, Dick Allen using a 42 ounce bat. Guys using 38 ounce, 36 ounces was very common, 34 to 36. And I said, swing a bat like that, all you have to do is center it, and that ball will jump.
Not bad.
You can't stop your swing."
Well, the one thing that he has is tremendous strength in his forearms. And you talked about a little drill that they had measuring the strength in the forearms and the wrists. And he's one of the tops on the team.
No, he was the top.
And I say one of them just because Pujols was holding back a little bit because of his sore elbow, but he does have tremendous upper body strength.
Yeah, Pujols was second on that measuring, but he was using his left hand, not worrying about the elbow or not wanting to put pressure. And third was DeRosa.
Strikeout of Boggs. That's 4 on the night. Sends us to the 5th. Top of the lineup coming up for Washington.
They're just planning the show over Lumiere, but what's the bar over there, Bob? Blue?
The Aqua Bar.
Aqua Bar. I knew it was blue.
State in history, Jackie Robinson hits for the cycle, drives in 2, scores 3 times. Dodgers beat the Cardinals August 29th, 1948. Our Schnooks, this date in baseball history. Number 42 retired, Jackie Robinson and Bruce Sutter. Willie Harris, Top of the lineup for Washington. Willie is 1 for 2. And Christian Guzman and Ryan Zimmerman for the Nationals. Boggs pitching in the 5th. Pitch number 67, a strike. You saw the speed of Willie Harris tracking down that fly ball in center field, and a good play. That was off the bat of Skip Schumacher as he sliced one into left center.
What a difference in Boggs' pitch count than some of his earlier outings, where he would have this amount in the 2nd or 3rd inning.
And the reason why is walks, and he's only walked 1 tonight. I mentioned the other day how it's just been a great learning experience for him to talk to Carpenter and Wainwright, now John Smoltz, Pinheiro, Wellemeyer. Wealth of knowledge inside that Cardinal dugout. On the outside corner, catches it, 2-2. Again, I mean, I've said it a bunch since Smoltz got here. You'd be crazy not to approach him and ask him about situations and what he's been through in this game.
Smoltz the kind of guy that will be more than happy to share that wealth of knowledge.
Notice the big zipper on his elbow.
He's had 5 surgeries.
Right. So if you've had an injury situation, mentally how to come back from it, physically what you have to go through. Obviously winning baseball.
Money's not the issue with him. It's the competitiveness and wanting to be on a championship club again.
The speed of Willie Harris. We noted that Brendan Ryan will play on that outfield grass, but this guy's speed, he slaps it. You got to glove it and get rid of it quickly.
Yeah, remember we were talking about Willingham. I go ahead and play back because he lets it rip. But this guy, as you say, is slap hitter and swinging bunt type affair. So you've got to be coming in and know that many times you're going to be feeling balls on the front part of the grass.
Goes the other way. Holiday has to come in a few steps to make the catch. Going back to Smoltz for a moment, but you think about Smoltz, Glavine, Maddox, any one of the 3, pitch count at 74. That tandem just dominated baseball. And in their amazing run with the Braves, you'd look at their lineups over one year to the next, those would change, but the constants were those 3.
And Leo Mazzoni was the genius with those 3, and
Al, I could have been the genius.
When he went elsewhere, the magic kind of wore off.
This is slicing down the left field line and out of play.
And Dan, you are correct. You could have been a genius with those 3.
You could pay me a lot of money, and I would have started rocking back and forth and said, "All right, John, go get him."
You might just stood on your head.
Tom Glavine, hey, find the strike zone. Let's go, buddy. Greg Maddux, make that ball move a little bit. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Of course, one of the things too that Leo was a disciple of Johnny Sane, and one of the things Johnny believed in was throwing every day.
Underhanded to Boggs, covering, and Guzman retired for out number 2. Well, sometimes Pujols will take them themselves, but in this case, with the speed of Guzman, you can hear that they are screaming at Boggs to get over and cover. Something that they do from the opening of spring training in the season.
That's where there's guys on the bench and somebody just reminding.
Get down, get down!
It's Jason LaRue.
Yeah, it's LaRue.
Yeah, Jason LaRue is, that's one thing, just to remind his pitchers that you got a responsibility. Get to the right side, cover the bag if anything's hit to the right side.
Here's Zimmerman with 2 outs. Third baseman is 0 for 2.
Going to be Boggs' most efficient inning? I hope so.
Excuse me, 0 for 1 tonight for Ryan Zimmerman. 1-0 pitch. Tight slider that time, but another example of maybe catching a little bit too much of the plate with a guy like Zimmerman. One ball, 1 strike. On deck, Adam Dunn.
How far off the plate he is. So set up outside.
And he hits it in the air out to deep right. Ludwig is back near the wall, and he's got it. Ludwig almost ran out of real estate. Right against the wall, he makes the catch, and Boggs has a 1-2-3 inning. Top of the lineup coming up for the Cards. It's time to bring you up to speed with the AT Rapid Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. 1 ball, 1 strike on Skip Schumacher. We're back. It's the bottom of the 5th. And 3-2, the Cardinals have the lead. Matt Holliday, a 3-run homer, and that was back in the 3rd. Schumacher 1 for 2. He doubled back in the 1st, and good play by Willie Harris to take an extra base hit away. On the drive into left center. Second time up for Skip. Schumacher here. Brendan Ryan on deck, and then Albert Pujols. 1-1 is taken up and in.
Well, here we're going to find out, because third time through the order, hitters have hit .330 off this righty.
Telling stat.
Yes.
3 balls, 1 strike. Stammen has walked 3 and struck out 4 tonight. The 3-1 pitch in there for a strike to Schumacher.
Again, the Cardinals only have 3 hits, but a 3-run home run makes that 3 hits look a little bit better.
Washington has out hit the Cardinals 6-3, and Schumacher hits it sharply to second. Pete Orr to his right to make the play. Cardinal fans, when it comes to tickets, you deserve Major League service, so go online to StubHub. It's the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the St. Louis Cardinals, and the only site with Fan Protect guarantee. Here's Brendan Ryan. He's 1 for 2 with a run scored. Mustache and all. While the mustaches have kind of come and gone with this team, Brendan has kept his. I remember being on the Caravan with Brendan Ryan a couple of years ago, Al, and right after the Cardinals had won the World Series. And he had so many questions for Randy Flores and Skip Schumacher. Scott Cooper was on that. Kenny Reitz. You're thinking at the time, and I'm sure he was, am I ever going to make it? Boy, has he. I mean, he's really just turned into a good player and a guy that provides a lot of energy in that clubhouse. And he was very good with the fans at that time, too, obviously.
Yeah, he likes to have fun. You know, he's a regular guy, and, you know, he's thankful that he gets to do this for a living, but doesn't take himself too serious.
3-2.
But just look at where he's progressed this season. Going into spring training, was he even going to make this team? Leo Green was your shortstop.
3-2 is pulled foul, and when you look at 2010, and you thought at the time, after his Turris and then Khalil Green, not knowing what may happen with him, you're thinking, well, Brendan could be a nice utility guy, but now you're saying that's out the window. This guy is your everyday shortstop. Brendan hits it into right center. Harris on the move. He was shading him a bit to the opposite field, and he makes the catch again.
I don't know if you're aware of it, but Tyler Green hit 2 home runs the other day in a game, and last night he hit another home run. So I mean, he's starting to perform down there.
I talked to the coaches about Tyler Green. Here's Pujols. They love his defense. I mean, they feel he could be a real valuable guy. Second, third, short. He could play the outfield too. He would learn it, but there would be no question he's athletic enough to do it. But remember, when he was sent down the last time, he was in a real rut. He was 0 for his last 21 or 22, and that slider, the breaking ball, was very tough on him. But they feel he's made progress there, which is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and he's a former #1 draft pick that has never hit until this past season, and really kind of opened some eyes, in spring training, swinging the bat.
Pujols hits a rocket out to left, couple of hops off the wall. Albert's got 2 with 2 outs.
Getting closer in those doubles now. He's 2 doubles shy of tying Joe Medwick for 3rd on the Cardinals' all-time list. Look at the catcher. He didn't want any part of this when Albert's swinging the bat. Nieves' head totally turns. Look at that. It's not, you don't see that often, do you?
Not at all. And now Nieves is out to visit with his starter. I'm sure one of the things that they're going over right now is, look, first base is open. Holiday's already taking it deep, swinging a hot bat. Even though we would have 2 on, you feel more comfortable pitching to Ludwig.
Yeah, that's a good. Now they're going to intentionally pass Holiday, give him the free pass. I almost wonder if he might have been crossed up the way he turned his head too.
So they'll walk Matt Holliday. Watch how the pitcher will just lob this in.
Wouldn't put anything past Albert, would you?
No, and you know where I'm going with it. If he wanted to, pitcher is taking it for granted that he's not running. With him lobbing it like that, you can almost think about taking 3rd. Now, you wouldn't do it, but...
Well, you have to get through the conversation he's having with Guzman, too.
Right. Ron Vallone, former Cardinal, is getting loose. The lefty in the bullpen for Jim Riggleman. They've got 2 lefties out there, Sean Burnett and the former Cardinal. Former every other team, Ron Vallone.
Still pitching though.
Yes, he is.
Ludwig struck out his last time. He walked the first time up. Had a couple walks in last night's game, and it usually means, in my mind, it usually gets a hitter a little bit closer or seeing the ball much better, not swinging the pitches out of the strike zone.
Remember the numbers before Holiday got here. When they would intentionally walk Pujols, his numbers were terrific. And overall, whether he was walked intentionally or not, Ludwig had great numbers in that situation. Runners at first and second. Here comes a 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 outs. We're in the 5th, 3-2 Cardinals. Packed house here tonight at Busch Stadium. Ludwig has walked. That was back in the 2nd and struck out in the 3rd. This right-hander struck out 4. Just missed on the inside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. Mentioned that he doesn't walk many, but he's got 4 tonight, with one of those being intentional.
And that was one thing that I was told, that he has good control and doesn't walk many.
2-2. That's a pitch right there. A lot of times we see him so aggressive in this spot. He's ready for it. Didn't like it. 2-2.
Until you got 2 strikes. If you're disciplined, you're staying with one game plan, go up there looking for what you're looking for. You can do that until you get 2 strikes.
Big gap in left center for Ludwig. Ground ball hit to short. Guzman can't make the play. Pujols will score. Holiday on his way to third. Ludwig hustling into second base. The air by Guzman allows a run to score, and the Cardinals lead it 4-2, and Pujols may have helped that out as he hesitated, running from second to third, trying to distract Guzman.
No doubt about it, Dan. You know, just that screen, the shortstop, and Guzman commits his 17th error. But watch Albert. Right there, just trying to disrupt the pattern. Guzman just doesn't look into it, doesn't keep that concentration. So give an assist to Albert. He's always trying to do something to help out, and big error is going to knock out this pitcher. With Rasmus coming up, they're going to go to the bullpen and bring in Vallone.
And a heads-up play by Ludwig to wind up at second base.
Exactly right.
So here comes Ron Vallone out of the Washington bullpen. Pitching change for the National. His team leading 28th start tomorrow. Picked up the National League's first and only 15th win in his last start on Tuesday. It's his birthday tomorrow and also his bobblehead day. And it'll be Rick Horton and Jay Randolph on KSDK and the Cardinals TV network tomorrow at 12:30.
And there are tickets available.
So Ron Vallone in our Chevy call to the bullpen out of Inglewood, New Jersey.
Pitching for his 12th major league team.
Here's Rasmus, runners at second and third. First pitch is up. And I noticed, Tony La Russa talked about it, I think, in just kind of reading his body language. Watch for the pitch up.
Right. Vallone, we saw at times that he's controlled a little erratic and pitches up in the zone. Did post a 17 scoreless inning streak in his first 19 appearances with Washington, but since that time, ERA over 7.
Well, he has not been on the same team for more than 2 years in his major league career.
And he's a good guy. And
very good guy.
But I mean, if he wasn't, he wouldn't be around for his 12th ball club. And we give him a little credit. He's 39 years of age now, and he's pitched over 700 major league appearances.
He was the 14th overall pick back in 1992 by Seattle. A 1-1 pitch to Colby Rasmus. Here it comes. So with Seattle in 1992, that 14th overall pick, he's been with the Mariners, San Diego, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Cincinnati, the Rockies, Houston, Pittsburgh, Houston again, Seattle again, Florida, the Yankees, the Cardinals, the Nationals.
Remember he was traded for Andy Bennis. from Seattle to San Diego.
1-2 pitch to Colby Rasmus on its way. 2-2 here by Guzman. Extends the inning and knocks out their starter Stammen, who went 4 2/3 and only gave up 4 hits, but he walked 4.
Tyler Clippert is warming up, so this could be a 1-batter affair for Valone. And 1 hit here could be 2 more Cardinal runs.
The 2-2 pitch to Colby on its way. Fouled away.
Holmes done a little bit of everything over his career, including he struck out 12 Cardinals one game when he started for Cincinnati.
That's right. He started in his career. He's been a reliever. A 2-2 pitch to Rasmus. Good at bat here by Colby. The Cardinals reached the All-Star break. They were 49 and 42 at that time. They played a Major League high 91 games. Since the All-Star break, only 13 losses for the Cardinals. They're 26 and 13.
And they played very well here at home.
2-2 with 2 outs and 2 on.
They're 15 and 5 at home since the All-Star break. And 17 more games here at Busch. Need to go 11 and 6 to reach 50 home wins.
A 2-2. Rasmus grounds it foul.
And the team playing very well on the road now. St. Louis 6 games over 500 on the road. 36 and 30.
See Colby with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. 9 RBIs in this spot. Jim Riggleman intentionally walked Holiday to get to Ludwig. Then the air committed by Guzman. And a chance at a big inning here for the Cardinals.
Talk about it, but Washington worst defense in the National League.
The 2-2. Rasmus, deep right field. At the wall, goodbye. Over the bullpen. One of the longest home runs to right field this year. Off the bat of Colby. The second 3-run homer for the Cardinals tonight.
That was a blast. That's the farthest ball I've seen here at New Busch Stadium to right field. 14th home run, and now his RBI total up to 44.
Very good at bat, too.
Right? You know, you just keep on extending it out there to where you finally get that mistake, and instead of getting that ball out away from him, Colby got one on the middle part of the plate, and he jumped all over it, and they want a curtain call.
7-2 Cardinals.
Tony told him to make sure the ball's down, and they did get up and out. It's only his second home run of his 14 against a left-handed pitcher.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Mark DeRosa. Cardinals with a pair of 3-run homers, no doubt about this one.
Look at this ball. Misses location, doesn't get it outside, and Colby puts that good swing on it. And that is way over the bullpen, about 3 or 4 rows back above the walkway.
Fly ball out to left, and the catch made on the run by Josh Willian. 4 runs in the inning, 3 on 1 swing of the bat. Where did it land? Over the bullpen. Colby goes deep. in 1 month. We talked about the success the Cardinals have had here in the month of August. And back in July of 1944, a great year for the Cardinals. They had 26 wins in the month of July. Colby Rasmus has made it 7-2 St. Louis. And that was measured at 444 feet.
Remember, he hit the whoops.
Dunn, a high, towering blast. How far will this one go? Whoa. 7-3. Adam Dunn with his 35th home run of the year. Goodness. Country strong is what they said.
No doubt about that one. I think Kobe's was further because of it where it was out in the right center. But Adam Dunn knew this one was gone. So did Ludwig, looking up into the night.
And so Adam Dunn cuts a lead to 7-3. 35 home runs, 91 driven in, and here is Josh Willingham.
But again, right now, watch the glove as it's just too, up over the middle of the plate.
And DeRosa up with this one, makes the play. Good friend Wade Thompson from the Weston has made his way into the booth. Of course, they have been very kind to the baseball teams that come through all summer long. Right across the street, the Weston, they also had the pop-up challenge here at the ballpark.
You don't hear any of these visiting teams ever say a bad thing. They really enjoy that experience at the Weston.
They certainly do. It's popped up, and Pujols makes the catch. So Mitchell Boggs settles down after the home run. He snaps at the baseball there. You see a little frustrated after the home run by Dunn. And the Cardinals 44, 26-7, 42, 25-8, 68. July 24-6. September 1939, 24-9. Go back to 2004. It just seemed like that team never lost. Amazing how well they played certain months. Here's Pete Orr. And the Weston has the pop-up challenge, which you and I, when we watch, we get scared.
For the participant.
Ripped into right field, going back. Ludwig, he won't get it. Over his head.
He came in first. His first initial move was in, and that doomed him as he couldn't get back on the line drive.
And Pete Orr is now 3 for 3 with 2 singles and a double. Dunn's home run measured at 418 feet.
Well, let's look at here. See this like down, but it's out over the middle of the plate. Low ball hitters. And that's what we're talking about. He's in effect to stay out of the middle of the plate when he's facing the left-handers. And Duncan will out to pay a visit. Jason Mott is warming up in the Cardinal bullpen.
Pitch count is in the mid-80s, so might have a situation here, Al, where this might be his final inning of work anyway, as he is due upcoming in the bottom of the 6th with the Cardinals.
And this Nationals ball club, as I said, they're got the worst record, trying to avoid 100 losses this season, but they can score some runs. So even though you've got a 7-3 lead, you don't want to take it for granted.
No doubt. So here is Will Nieves with 2 outs. He had a bases loaded ground out and an RBI in the 4th, and also hit into a double play, 1-6-3. There's that slider taken low. That RBI was his 23rd. Mike Morse is on deck. Up the middle. Diving stop, Schumacher from his knee. Got him! Oh, what a play by Skip Schumacher. Takes the hit and RBI away. He's supposed to be an outfielder, partner.
A sensational play at both ends.
joined together to encourage young people not to smoke, because once you start, it's hard to stop. Strike out tobacco so we can all breathe easier. Call the Missouri Tobacco Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW. The Cardinals, Jason LaRue, and then Joe Thurston has grabbed a bat. He's at the on-deck circle, and a new pitcher is in. Jorge Sosa spent time with the Cardinals.
Right.
He's part of the 06 team.
He's pulled up from Syracuse, their AAA affiliate, on August 1st. And he had a 1.37 ERA in 16 International League appearances.
And Al, this is our call of the bullpen, brought to you by Chevy. So 15th appearance, and opponents hitting .333. You know, here's another one of those guys with a very good arm that the Cardinals loved, but really just didn't put it all together, did he?
No, you know, I mean, he's 2-1. He's got 2 saves, but then you look at that ERA over 7, and so much more than just having a great arm.
Out of the Dominican, signed by Colorado as a free agent back in '95. And he spent his first 5 minor league seasons, you might remember, as an outfielder, but because of that arm, then converted to a pitcher. There was a fastball in the mid to high 90s. Curve, a slider, and a changeup. Very free and easy, too, as he comes to the plate. Jorge Sosa. His breakout year was in 2005. That was when he was with the Braves. The Cardinals felt that they really had something. Fouled back by LaRue. They're part of the Mariners organization, the Rockies, the Brewers, Tampa Bay.
You're talking about these fine records, the best records in different months. The Cardinals are 18-6 this month.
Well, Sosa was not on the Cardinals postseason roster in '06, and not offered a contract for '07, so he became a free agent. The Cardinals picked him up after he fell out of favor with Bobby Cox in Atlanta. Had a great 2005, and then in '06 he started 2-9, and that was the end of the story. He was traded to St. Louis.
A lot of times guys like this really tease you.
A swing and a miss as LaRue strikes out to start the bottom of the 6th.
You see their raw talent. You look at watch them on the side, or you watch them on certain occasions, and you go, this guy's really going to be something. You know, every pitching coach's dream and nightmare.
Because you just want to see it all come together, which, like you said, he's shown flashes of brilliance, but just hasn't been able to put it all together. So here's Joe Thurston off the bench, and Mitchell Boggs has a chance to pick up a win tonight.
Well, the Cardinals were 5-2 in his 7 previous starts, but trying to reverse the trend, they lost the last 2.
Now, Thurston, and I was talking with some of the coaches about it, they really like him in this role as far as being a pinch hitter from the left side. I feel he's gives the Cardinals some competitive at bats from the bench, and he's not a guy that's going to always knock it out of the park, but give you competitive bats in a very tough spot, which is trying to be a pinch hitter at this level.
And this was what his role was going to be. You know, with if you had a healthy Troy Glass.
Popped up on the infield, and Pete Orr is under it. Makes the catch. Pitch in for Healthy Smiles with Delta Dental and the Cardinals. Purchase a $2 raffle ticket for a chance to win an autographed baseball by Albert Pujols and join the Smiles League. The proceeds benefit local charities that help kids have healthy smiles. For info and to buy your tickets, please go to smilesleague.com. What a play by Skip to end the top half of this inning.
Yeah, it really was outstanding as he ranged up the middle, dove for that ball from his knees. He threw it, but best thing about his throw is he hopefully doubles down here.
He does as it hops over the wall. So ground rule double for Schumacher, his second double of the night.
You know, he threw it far enough out in front of Albert at the first base bag to where he got a real true hop, to where he made it very easy.
So here's the opposite field double, the ground rule double, and also in this inning, the great play up the middle.
He bounces it so far out in front that Albert's going to get a pretty true hop. Said they're stretching, trying to help out.
Well, talking with Skip about this transition, he still will tell you, I'm a work in progress, but I think he has surpassed most expectations for anybody that follows his team, not really knowing what to expect at this level.
Very difficult, and Tony thought he would be playing at this level next season in his second year at playing shortstop. And so he's really, it was Tony's idea, and he's exceeded Tony's expectations.
How valuable has he made himself?
Well, he was going to be a fourth or fifth outfielder, and now he's playing every day on arguably the best team in the National League.
That's outside, 2-0 on Brendan Ryan, who has singled and scored back in the third, and a 3-run homer by Holiday. The Cardinals with 2 3-run homers tonight, one by Holiday and the other by Colby Rasmus against the lefty Ron Vallone.
And it spoke, and that was obviously meant to say second base. It said shortstop.
2-0 pitch. 3-0, and Pujols on deck. And Skip would never tell you this, but he's probably made himself a lot of money too. And that's not something that he talks about.
No.
But we can, and he's probably made himself a nice payday.
Well, just put it this way: fourth or fifth outfielder, or $4 or $5 million second baseman.
Sure. Just asking for trouble, and maybe Brendan even takes one more pitch with Pujols on deck and a count of 3 balls and 1 strike.
Well, we talk about it all the time, the lack of fastball command by today's pitchers.
3-1 by Sosa. Base hit into right. Schumacher being waved in. Skip will score from second base as a throw is cut off by Dunn. 8-3 Cardinals. A 2-out RBI base hit by Brendan Ryan, and that's his 28th RBI of the year. It wasn't all that long ago he was in single digits with RBIs.
Right. Well, that was one of the things we were always harping on, that he's getting his base hits, but he wasn't driving anybody in. But that's all changed. And get a favorable hitters count, 3-1, and he picks up his second hit of the night, and he's right back there pushing 300 again.
Well, Sosa fell behind 3-1, and like I said before, he asked for trouble, and Brendan Ryan made him pay. Now it's Pujols. Albert with a double tonight, 2 runs scored. He's also walked. 2 outs and a runner at first. And that pitch taken low and outside. Back to a 5-run lead for the Cardinals.
And we talked about the game-winning home run last night. Ended up being the 100th run scored by Albert. 8 of the 9 seasons he's played at the major league level, he's had 100 runs or more. And the one year he failed to do so, he had 99.
2-0. And you ask Albert about it, he'll tell you, well, you need to score runs to win the game.
That's what it's all about, trying to outscore your opponent.
And my point in that statement is he wants to win. And he, don't make any mistake about it. The individual accomplishments are nice, but Pujols will tell you he wants to win.
Yeah, and next contract time around, he's saying that, it's not about money, it's about being in a position to win.
3-0 on Albert Pujols. Now, there's sometimes when he goes to 3-0, I'm always ready for him to swing.
Ted Simmons was a guy that would never swing like that on 3-0. And it would kind of get around the league that, he never swings on a 3-0 pitch. And then all of a sudden, he pulls the trigger, and he was looking for something other than the slider right there. And may not have liked the call, but
that's where he's smart. He recognizes the pitch so early to where it's not what he wants.
And he's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes.
So the runs at 102 now for Pujols. Only National Leaguer in triple digits. Brendan Ryan off with a pitch. He's hit first. There he goes. And Albert hits it out to deep center field. To the track, to the wall. It's off the wall. Albert on his way to second. Brendan Ryan will score. And the center fielder, Willie Harris, is still on his knees out there. He finally gets up, and it's 9-3 St. Louis. RBI number 109 for Albert.
Willie Harris played that ball very awkwardly. As he went back on it, but it looked like he had more room to take another step or two, get closer to the wall. Hammered out there, and he was playing a little bit in right center, and now you're seeing the light, the flash ball.
I wonder if it just carried more than he thought, the way that he was going back there.
And I think we all think when Albert hits it, it's going to carry.
Here's Holiday. He was intentionally walked last time. But now with a 6-run lead, Jim Riggleman is saying we got to go at him. And Holiday was walked. And then with runners at first and second, ground ball, Ludwig reached on the air, and then the 3-run homer by Colby Rasmus. The fans are having some fun tonight. Holiday against Sosa, 2 hits and 2 home runs.
Well, the Cardinals still only have 8 hits, but they've scored 9 runs, and now you're starting to see the capability of this offense. Have to see him score in more than 1 inning too, and 3 innings today with 3 crooked numbers.
Holiday, a little chopper to the right side. Pujols will be left stranded, but he drives in another. 8 hits, 9 runs, 6-run lead. Field. The second 3-run homer for the Cardinals tonight. And I know that Tom and Harriet Thompson in Rolla, Missouri enjoying this one tonight, as Matt Holiday is homered. Pujols RBI double, on base 3 times tonight, and now Kyle McClellan. And Kyle McClellan made a nice donation earlier today. This will be his 53rd appearance. Donation of $5,000 to the Decatur Park District for the purchase of new baseball equipment. This is Mike Morse, 1 away. Pinch hitter retired. In the 7th, and the Cardinals have a 9-3 lead.
A little more fun, isn't it?
Sure is. It's been a fun season, I'll tell you that.
The real surprise is this team is really, Tony felt that, it had a chance to be a very good team, maybe even a special team, and then they played hard. That first half put themselves in position to where the front office and ownership said, okay, we'll reward you. Brought in some real troops, some support, and they have really energized this team in the clubhouse. They're having a lot of fun. There really is a close-knit bunch of guys, too.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Willie Harris. Harris looks at a ball. Now the count is 3 balls and a strike. Milwaukee and Pittsburgh tied up 3-3 in the bottom of the 6th.
Big game out there in the wild card implications. Colorado at San Francisco.
Lincecum picked up another win last night.
As Colorado has lost 3 straight, and they only have a 2-game lead over San Francisco in the wild card.
3-2 pitch to Willie Harris, and he walked him. So 1-out walk. And Harris is aboard, and it brings in Guzman. Tripled and scored back in the first. Washington had an early 1-0 lead. Cardinals made it 3-1. Washington cut into the lead 3-2, but since then 6 unanswered by St. Louis, and they lead it 9-3. Been a good year for Kyle, hasn't it?
It has. Just learning experience. We saw last year only a few times he was overworked and had some problems. This year he's been able to kind of regulate his work where he's always fresh.
Tony tries to get you right back out there too if you're coming off a tough game, which Kyle is. His last outing, which was against Houston, and that wound up being on Thursday.
That was the game where tried to protect a 1-run lead and was going to give the opportunity for a 5-out save as Franklin wasn't available, and he gave up the tying run and then also the home run to win the ball game.
Home run by Kappinger. Liner and a base hit right center. Over to get it, Ludwig. Harris will stop at second base.
Trevor Miller warming up, but Zimmerman is a right-handed batter, so McClellan will get him. Miller's warming up for the on-deck hitter, Adam Dunn. And Dave Duncan will come out and pay a visit to Kyle.
So 1 out and 2 runners on.
Got the firepower right now. They got between Zimmerman and Dunn.
How about this crowd tonight? 44,028, 44028. The 26th sold-out crowd in this 2009 campaign. So 1 out and 2 on, 9-3 St. Louis. Remember Adam Wainwright going tomorrow, bobblehead day here at the ballpark. Ice cream sundae, good seats still available. Order your tickets at STLCardinals.com, and it's also a family Sunday, terrace or pavilion reserved seat, and you get the free hot dog and soda tomorrow. So promotional day and a giveaway as well. Here's Ryan Zimmerman, who's 0 for 2. Runners at first and second, 1 out. 9-3 Cardinals. First pitch to Zimmerman. Breaking ball and a strike. Now, one of the things you might get concerned about if you're Dave Duncan and Tony La Russa is that you go back to last year, and Kyle admitted that basically in the final month of the season he was physically, mentally fried. So you got to keep an eye on that.
And Dan, that's we forget, but that was the first time he'd ever pitched in September. The first time on the major league bypassed AAA, came up from AA, and I think Miller also a byproduct of missed nearly 2 years with elbow issues.
Let's see what Kyle can do in 0-2. That's a good pitch there. See Zimmerman kind of hit the back of his leg, reminding himself to stay. Don't chase. Stay back. That's the kind of pitch that you get him to roll over on and get your double play. LaRue sets up outside, 2-2.
He's not used to seeing Kyle throw so many pitches to each hitter. He usually has good enough stuff to where he can retire guys out in pretty efficient fashion.
Two pitch, ground ball, and that's a base hit. Harris, he's being waved in, and he'll score. And the throw comes in to DeRosa, cuts a lead to 9-4.
Game of inches right there. You talked about rolling over, and he did roll over on it, but he got enough of it to pull it through the hole and get the RBI single.
So after he got the first man, 3 consecutive have reached. Pitch by pitch brought to you by Chevrolet.
Breaking ball, fastball, 0-2. And another breaking ball. It's down the way. Doesn't offer. Fastball down. There's a breaking ball. He goes, pulls it, and it goes to the side. So Tony will make the pitching change, bring in Trevor Miller to face Adam Dunn. Take a break. Cardinals still lead 9-4. See how excited they were. There's the ball up middle. The air right there produces a couple runs. Kobe Rasmus joins the fun with a 3-run home run. 444 feet. Brendan Ryan drives in a run with a base hit to the right side. His second hit of the game. And now Trevor Miller trying to stop things. Trevor's been outstanding in his first season with the Cardinals. 4-0. Lefties are batting 101 against him. He's 4th in the major leagues in not allowing inherited runners to score. And he's going to have to try and pitch around with 2 men on here, Dan.
And Dunn rips it into right field. Coming on to make the catch, Ludwig. Takes the hit away from Dunn. Good play. I was about to make the point out, if you start looking ahead to postseason play, just how valuable Trevor Miller can be in those one-out situations, but in particular against a team like the Phillies, Brian Howard and Utley and some of the big boppers that they've got, Ibanez. So that makes it 1 pitch, 1 out. Dunn out of the game, or rather Miller out of the game, excuse me, after he gets Dunn to fly out. Good work by Trevor. And here comes Mott. and opponents hitting .280 against him. At times spectacular this year, other times he struggled. One thing he does do is bring the heat. He throws hard.
Yeah, and he had a good tune-up last night as he pitched a full inning, only allowed one hit but no runs. Does lead the team with his 17 holds.
First pitch to Josh Willingham. Willingham tonight is struck out, walked and scored, and also grounded out to third.
He's got 21 home runs on the season.
You are right, though. This lineup is not indicative of their record.
No.
Just 46 wins.
Their problem's been their pitching. And they had some sensational youngsters, but Zimmerman went out with the Tommy John surgery. Remember,
we saw him earlier, and he was good.
Yeah, remember we had the I can't remember the guy's Matthias but he was 5-0 and pitched a heck of a game against the Cardinals, and then he's now in the minor leagues.
When you think about that guy, Zimmerman, and then Strasburg, you're saying, okay, that's something to build on.
Jim Riggleman has a pretty good offensive club. I mentioned they have scored more runs than the Cardinals have, and they have a higher batting average than the Cardinals.
Down up 2 balls and 1 strike. 3-1 on a pitch that's at 96. The walk issued by McClellan came around to score. RBI base hit by Zimmerman. Picked up his 80, well, now his 90th RBI with 2 more here tonight. A 3-1 popped up. The rule will give chase, but out of play. Well, the Cardinals have played such great baseball here in the second half, and the crowds have been coming out. I mentioned the sellout once again here tonight, and the weather has had something to do with that too. This has just been a remarkable summer here in St. Louis.
It's very, very pleasant, and there's winning baseball is something that makes it even more pleasant for the fans.
3-2 by Mott, and he walked him. Bases loaded. So bases loaded for Elijah Dukes. Dukes with 8 home runs. He's driven in 51 on the year.
He's batting .245, but he can hurt you.
He does have 1 grand slam in his career.
Saw that .455 average this season with bases loaded.
Base hit by Guzman. Base hit by Zimmerman. Walk to Willingham by Mott.
Nobody warming up for the Cardinals, so Jason LaRue just out to try to settle down Mott and get him in the strike zone. Of course, Mott started his career as a catcher and didn't make the conversion to pitching until '06, so a very young and inexperienced relief pitcher with a great arm, but a lot to learn.
Mentioned that Dukes does have that 1 grand slam. That was this past week. Wrigley Field against the Cubs Tuesday.
Now Brad Thompson has gotten up in the Cardinal pen.
1 ball, 1 strike. There's that breaking ball, a little tighter that time. Dukes was drafted by Tampa Bay. highly regarded player. Now in his second year with Washington. On the outside corner, and he strikes out Dukes. Time to stretch. It's 9-4. May not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Saul Rivera into the ball game now for Washington. Cardinals with a 5-run lead as we move to the bottom of the 7th here in St. Louis. Rivera, his 18th appearance. Opponents hitting .289 against him. 18 strikeouts in 25 innings. Go along with 10 walks this year. And he gets Ryan Ludwig. Maybe the play of the game tonight was Pujols distracting Christian Guzman. Guzman knocks it down, stays with it, makes the play. That was with 2 runners on off the bat of Ludwig, who reached on the air. A run came around to score, and then after that, Colby Rasmus knocked out a 3-run homer, so 4 runs because of that error.
I'd have no problem picking that. First pair of 3-run homers, one by Holiday, one by Rasmus, also helps get that total up to 9 runs by the Cardinals. Seems like it's been a week since they've scored that many runs.
Saul Rivera has been with the Nationals since '06 from San Juan, Puerto Rico. And Colby taps it foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Second on the Nationals all-time appearance list. And he will pass John Roush with 3 more, or 3 more he'll tie him, and 4 he'll pass him. Started at AAA and wasn't called up till August 5th.
Opposite field, base hit by Rasmus.
Colby needs this. His average was down under a couple days ago, under 250, and now it's over 260.
Mark DeRosa, the hitter, with 1 out and a runner at first. DeRosa, base hit to right. Rasmus, boy, he can run. On his way to third, Dukes. Throw will come into second base. Runners at first and third with one out. So a couple of opposite field hits.
I think Dukes came in to field that ball ready to throw and looked at second base and said, where's Rasmus at? But you watch out, he can pick him up and lay him down.
It's fun to watch, isn't it? Guys that run like that, so smooth and effortless around the bases.
And I'd like to see that slide. Just don't take things for granted. If you go in there and slide, you never hurt yourself because you're anticipating it, not caught or doing something at the last second, and that's when you get hurt.
The guy that I used to love to watch run, first to third,
Willie McGee.
Willie McGee. You're right. I mean, that was just blazing speed.
That wasn't rehearsed, was it? I knew exactly where you were going. There's Willie. Slowed down a little bit.
He has. Now Willie is living out in the West Coast.
Yep, up around Sacramento. And of course, I think hopefully he will get a little more involved with the Cardinals once his daughters, I think, are now in high school. So still wanting to be close to them as their athletes.
Here's a ground ball hit to short off the bat of LaRue, a double play ball, 6-4-3. We played 7 here at Busch Stadium, 10 hits aside, but the Cardinals own a 5-run lead. In $1.49 a gallon for a year's worth of gas. Visit your St. Louis Hyundai dealers today. Busch Stadium in St. Louis, a sea of red here tonight. 44,000 plus. The Cardinals leading by the score of 9-4. Mott here for his second inning of work. San Francisco, top of the third, leading 1-0 as Barry Zito made that start, and the Giants stand 2 games back of the Rockies in the wild card chase.
And that's Jason Marquis trying to equal a win total of Wainwright.
Wherever he goes to the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
St. Louis, Chicago, and potentially Colorado this year. Of course, with Atlanta prior to St. Louis.
Boy, look at the Cubs. They would have retained DeRosa and Marquis. Lost an awful lot in that clubhouse, and wins from the pitching staff and leadership from DeRosa. I loved it what Soriano said the other day.
Broken bat and another base hit. On an 0-2 pitch, he's now 4 for 4.
with their new ownership group now. Soriano said that, maybe we'll spend some money, as they'll have a $150 million payroll this year. See LaRue up in his haunches, and Orr broke his bat, but picked up his 4th hit. Like you said, he's had a pretty good 2 days coming up from AAA.
And Soriano is in the middle of a contract that will pay him $136 million.
And the general manager stated that, a lot of these players are all coming back because they're in the middle of those kind of contracts and probably too tough to move.
Here's Nieves, their catcher. Strike one. I would love the double play here. Adam Wainwright tomorrow. Good seats still remaining at STLCardinals.com. Off day on Monday. And Wainwright will celebrate his birthday tomorrow, too.
Don't forget Wellemeyer. It's also his birthday tomorrow.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Has Mott been throwing more breaking balls to you here in the last month or so? Those off-speed pitches?
I believe so, and many times it's given the hitter a chance to hitting.
And there's a breaking ball and a strikeout of Nieves.
Now, if you can throw it for strikes and keep them, hanging them, that helps out. And Ronnie Belliard will now pinch hit.
We were just in San Diego, and still every time we go back there, people talk about the play of Ronnie Belliard in the playoffs of '06.
I knew you were going to mention that, but you're absolutely right. A nice applause for him. As they remember that play as he was playing shallow right field.
Now, he was a guy that was always known to play on that outfield grass. It was kind of his reputation. A strike. It was the Brewers Player of the Year all the way back in 1999. Number of years with Milwaukee.
Belliard is hitting .373 this month.
With the Rockies and Cleveland.
Ronnie had a bad first half, hitting under 200, but .329 since the All-Star break and .429 in the last 8 games.
Ronnie was traded to the Cardinals for Hector Luna.
I saw where Hector Luna went to spring training with the Dodgers this year.
Division Series, Belliard hit .462, couple of RBIs, and won his first championship ring with the Cardinals in '06. And he has had a couple of good years here with Washington. Actually signed a 2-year deal, around $4 million. And that's hit out of play. Two and two.
But it looks like Ronnie slimmed down a little bit.
Could be the haircut.
Could be.
But I actually was thinking the same thing. We saw him playing first base last night. He'll come in defensively a lot of times for Dunn. Can they turn a double play? Out there on the first double play. Bottom of the 8th rolls in when we come back. And his ERA has jumped from 4.36 to what you see there in that graphic, 5.86.
Gave up the home run to Albert last night.
And so Rick Ankiel has grabbed the bat, and he will pinch hit here as Belliard stays in the game to play second base.
And the lefties are hitting .347 against Berkman.
I want to remind folks our next telecast will be on Tuesday night. Joel Pinheiro will get that start for St. Louis, 13-9. Carpenter Wednesday night. Thursday afternoon, John Smoltz. A 5-run lead for the Cardinals. Adam Dunn visiting with our first base umpire, and also Dave McKay. Here's Rick Ankiel. Last Saturday, it was a pinch hit home run to dead center field in San Diego. His 10th home run of the year.
Orr staying in the game, and Orr is in right field. So
2 balls and no strikes. Now Orr stays in the game. He takes over in right. Belliard, after pinch hitting, is at second base. We saw Orr a little shook up after that double play. It looked like he took a knee to the head from Skip Schumacher trying to break up the double play, and he was slow to get up, but now he's in right field. That's 4 straight and a walk to Rick Ankiel.
That doesn't help you when you're struggling.
Take a look at this play. He tried to break up the double play.
Yeah, he tried to go out there, but he gets a knee right to the forehead.
And Skip, before he came into the dugout, checked on him. And here he is. He's got a couple of doubles. Handed him his helmet, made sure he was all right. He was very, very slow to getting up. One of the goals that Skip has talked about when you talk about individual performance is hitting 300, which he has done. He's at 295. And it's nice to see that the mental grind that he puts himself through to play defense has not affected what he's done offensively this year. 1-2.
Leads the ball club with 11 3-hit games and looking for number 12.
Mott walked a man, a couple of strikeouts. He's out of the game, and there's a base hit into right. Off the bat is Schumacher.
Well, he's 12 3-hit game to lead the ball club. 3 hits tonight. Inching closer to that 300. And off-speed pitch, but mentioned lefties batting right around 350.
So here's Brendan Ryan. Ryan with a 2-out base hit, RBI here tonight. And 2 for 4 here in game 2 against Washington. Up there hacking and lines it foul. Pujols on deck. Well, they've had some fun here in these home stands with the Cardinals, playing great baseball here at Busch Stadium. Off day on Monday for the Pujols golf tournament, and back at it Tuesday with Milwaukee.
Let's just hope this ball club just starting to click a little bit.
Like you said, they really still haven't hit. Now they've got 11 hits here tonight, and 2 of the hits have been 3-run homers, but it really hasn't been all that consistent. What has been consistent, the pitching.
And
Belliard only play to go to first. 1 away.
there's first base open. Albert wasn't swinging the bat very well until his final plate appearance in the 9th inning. Off of this pitcher, he hit the game-winning home run, but Jim Riggleman now, he's seeing him swing the bat much better here tonight, a pair of doubles, and he's going to put Albert on, increase his club record for intentional passes this year.
Isn't that interesting where Jim Riggleman walked Matt Holliday back in the 5th to get to Ludwig? Well, in this spot, he's going to walk Pujols to get to Holliday. And the fans are saying, wait a minute. 5-run lead. We pay our hard-earned money to watch this guy hit.
Well, Jimmy's trying to eliminate the interim from his interim manager's job, and they've played much better under his tutelage.
I'm not sure I agree with that, though. You know, you're really asking for a huge inning with a guy that's swinging the bat well. Now, you do have the potential of a double play.
Yeah, I mean, if they get the huge inning, it's not going to make any difference.
Yeah.
But right now, they're banking on that Holliday will more than likely roll over on a slider. But as you said, he can hit one out too.
Listen to this crowd. Holliday in the first pitch hits it foul, and much of this crowd is stuck around, and those that have are on their feet with the bases loaded. He's got 4 grand slams in his career, and one of those coming this year.
400 average. Bases loaded this year.
Big gap in left center. Strike 2.
There's a slider that Bergman has been hanging a lot lately.
Oh, 2. A swing and a miss. 3 pitches. Holliday strikes out. It brings in Ludwig with the bases loaded.
94-mile-an-hour fastball just throws it by him. They wanted it away. It's more on the inside part of the plate, and Holliday just doesn't catch up to it.
So Jim Riggleman pitches around Albert, strikes out Holliday. So far, so good, he's saying.
You know, the beauty of this game is, you know, manager makes these decisions, but it's up to the execution of the players, whether they're right or wrong. Personally, I think I would have done that. I mean, other than the fact that I think in a 9-4 score,
to me, that's part of the equation.
You know, you just kind of let him. But you know, he's trying to show his boss that he wants that job. He's trying to show his team also.
And
that,
I understand that too.
Yeah,
I do. I just, you know, when you're in St. Louis, you're down by 5 runs, and people come to watch Pujols play this game and hit.
So you spend the owner's money. Now you're telling them how to manage to the Cardinals' benefit.
Absolutely, Al. You've got me figured out.
I do.
I'd be worse than Steinbrenner. 2-1 the count.
Well, there's a ton of Cardinal fans agreeing with everything you're thinking.
2-2. I speak from the heart. I want to watch Albert hit. We've seen most of his at-bats in his career, and it's a treat. There's no doubt.
And you know Jim Riggleman knows Albert Pujols very well too, and he likes to see him hit. But how about that strategy now?
Yeah, it paid off big time. Couple of strikeouts. 9-4 St. Louis as we head to the ninth.
Live, Pat Paris with Dr. Rick Horton. They are at the Aqua Bar at Lumiere Place. Three's Company, 3-run bombs lead the way. Boggs bears down. They'll look at Mitchell's night, plus Tony La Russa's post-game comments. It's all coming up after the game. For now, we send it back to Dan and Al, guys.
All right, Jim, thanks. And here's Brad Thompson. 26th appearance for Thompson. Called upon to get the final outs here tonight.
Last time he pitched, San Diego, on the 21st of August. Well, it was 8 days, and you know, I continue to marvel how it doesn't faze him a bit. You know, pitching once every 7-8 days and still has the ability to throw strikes.
Willie Harris will be the leadoff hitter. And the Cardinals 3 outs away from trying to go for a sweep tomorrow afternoon.
And 21 games over 500. Cubs won today, so they'd maintain their 9-game lead over the Cubbies.
And a strike to Harris, who Watkins scored in the 7th. He is singled, grounded out to first, and flied out to left. Cardinals trying to hold on for Mitchell Boggs. Strike 2. He comes in pumping strikes.
Mark Reynolds hit his 40th home run tonight.
What a year he's had for Arizona. Boggs would improve his record to 2-2 if the Cardinals hold on.
And the team will have won 6 of his 8 starts.
It has to mean something.
It does. Remember, we always talk about that with Brad Thompson. You know, where Cards have won 20 of his 32 starts.
2-2.
The role of a starting pitcher is to keep your team in a game, so whether you win it or they win it, keep it close where they can come from behind.
Ground ball slowly hit. That'll be a foul ball off the foot of Harris. So 2-2 the count. 9-4 Cardinals. Cardinals with 3 runs in the 3rd, 4 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, 11 hits tonight, and a 5-run lead. And Wainwright looking for win number 16 tomorrow. He would go to 16-7. His ERA is in the top 5 at 2.50.
You mentioned Lincecum won yesterday, but that was only his 13th victory.
Garrett Mock will get the strike for Washington. Goodbye. Harris strikes out to start the ninth. And we turn to our Budweiser player of the game, and it's Skip Schumacher, 3 for 5 with a run. Diving stop that saved a base hit and a run from scoring. Our Budweiser player of the game. A couple of doubles for Skip here tonight. Look in, and Joe Patini will get those guys, the infielders in particular, where they need to be. And that pitch is strike to Christian Guzman. He's singled and tripled tonight. Hit into a fielder's choice and grounded out back in the 5th. 0-1 pitch by Thompson. Doesn't waste much time. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Philadelphia is trailing at home against Atlanta 9-1 late. Philadelphia has 74 victories.
In the air, it is shallow right, going out. Schumacher to make the play.
Cardinals are looking for their 76th victory, and Los Angeles, with their victory today, have 77. That's something we haven't talked about, and Tony will get these guys pushing with their big 9-game lead, but push for that best record in the National League. That could be important with home field advantage.
Sure could.
Won't have it for the World Series again.
Zimmerman with 2 outs. Like what you see here from Thompson.
Yeah, I mean, he's just cool, calm, collected, just doesn't worry about all the time off. Comes in and firing strikes.
0-1 pitch. Strike 2.
I mean, it's 2 perfect pitches right there that a good hitter just looks at. And if you throw that ball down there, if somebody does hit it, they're going to hit the right side, but it's going to be a single at best.
0-2 pitch. Thompson to Zimmerman.
And you overthrow the breaking ball.
A 1-2. Broken bat. Pujols is there. The Cardinals are 21 games above the 500 mark. They win it 9-4, 76 and 55. Rasmus and Holiday go deep tonight. Mitchell Boggs his second win of the season. The Cardinals roll here in game 2.